We'll use this one. Call the meeting to order for the Price County Health and Human Services Board. I'm Paula Huddle, and I chair this committee. And we have Jules over here. Jules, you will take the roll, please.
Absolutely. Joe Director?
Joe is excused unless he's online. Do you see him anywhere?
Hold on. Oops. Joe, if you're online, because we do have one caller, so it may be Joe. *6.
He said he might not have connectivity, but.
I'll let you know if it's him.
If it does come on,
Yeah.
it's okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Paula Holder?
Here.
Robert Crawfish?
Here.
Patricia Steffen? Here. Dennis Warple? Sorry.
Yes.
Peter Daly is excused.
Is he excused?
Yes, he called earlier.
Okay, thank you.
Sally Hume?
Here.
Suzanne Oker? Here. Gerald Swenson?
Here.
All right. Sounds like we have a forum. So we will start, I'm sorry, our microphones are not working here, so hopefully everyone can hear Mr. Kraus. Can you hear us there? Can you hear us?
I guess not.
Can you hear us, Mr. Kraus?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can't hear you.
My husband would like that.
Can you hear me?
But he can't hear me. Okay,
Well, that ain't worth the darn.
no, let's see. what
Oh,
we can-
so Carrie just messaged, she's on the meeting. She can hear us, so it must be his end, his speakers aren't. So we had a piece of equipment go out, so the microphones are listening to us, so are the ceiling, so everybody online should be able to hear us. And Jean said she can hear us in the office too, but we can't, it doesn't amplify in the room, so we're hoping to have it fixed by next Tuesday. So speak loudly,
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Shoot.
I'll message him that we can hear him. But so everybody online can hear us. It's still recording. We're just not being amplified to each other in the room. So if you want to, you can still, like I turned mine on so it's clearer, but it will pick up from the ceiling mics.
So it's picking up from the mic, just.
The mic and the ceiling mics all are receiving,
Talking into this, everybody else can hear.
but it doesn't amplify in the room, correct?
But everyone else can hear us.
So we should turn it on.
Yeah, if you would like to, it does help online.
Are you messaging him right away?
I'm directly messaging
Okay.
this individual.
Probably got his mic off.
Anyone know sign language?
Well, we could hear him. We might have his-
Hey, there's Mickey.
He sees us looking at.
I don't know.
Is he getting a message from you yet? Does he have his email up and going? I apologize. We have a little bit of technical problems here, trying to get our guest speaker online.
So Mr. Kraus is from Chippewa something, the health group that we're talking to.
Chippewa Valley Health Cooperative.
Bob, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we can hear you, Mickey, but we can't hear
Mr. Kraus.
Bob Kraus. Can you hear us, all of us, Mickey?
Mickey, can you talk to them? Can they hear you?
Yes, they can hear me. Mhm.
They can't hear me, and I'm trying to change my.
No, we can hear you, Mr.
No,
Kraus.
tell them we can hear you. Bob, we just can't, you can't hear us.
Can you hear them, Bob?
Now Bob can't hear you.
Bob, can you hear the board?
3. That's good.
She's part of the.
Testing
Hold on.
1, 2, 3.
There you are. I can hear you.
We can hear him also, Mickey. He just doesn't seem to be able to hear us.
She hears?
Can you hear us
Yeah.
again, Mickey? Okay,
I- Yeah,
can you relay that to him?
Mickey,
please?
can they hear you?
yes, they can. Yes.
Then you take over.
Okay,
Because I can't figure out why my output's not working. But I will say, if they can hear me, this is the clearest Zoom video that I've had ever. You guys got a very good system up there.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
Thank
half
you.
broken right now.
Well, at least the video works well. All right, well then we will move on then. Right now, we have public comment. Do we have
Well-
any comment from the public?
and
Go ahead. Just.
All right, they're talking to each other. No other comment from the public?
There's no one else on for public comment, just the two individuals we've been.
Okay, hearing none. Any communications from the committee, the board here? I see none, so we'll go on. We'll go to item 2, new employee introduction. That would be Shauna.
And Caitlin, come on up too. Yeah, Caitlin, come on up.
So in the behavioral health unit, I am finally full again. And this is Katie Bogard, and she will be doing, she'll follow most of the mental health cases that we get. So welcome to Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Hi.
Welcome.
Welcome here.
Thank you.
You're from my district. You're out in Emory.
Yes.
Yes, you're going to marry Logan Kirkmeyer.
I am,
Yes, you are.
It has nothing to do with her employment.
No, not at all.
You know,
No.
it's Dad, just.
No, but I'm just excited that. Emory, there's Emory there too. So welcome to the
Thank
county.
you.
Yep, we
Thank
look
you.
forward to working with you. All right. Vouchers, they should have gone around to everyone yet or not?
Haven't seen them.
Mr. Kopish is probably looking at them.
I thought you had the right.
Yeah, I gave them to you. Oh, okay. I did. I said you got some work for you,
Oh,
but you were busy. You were doing some math on your computer, on your phone. So we'll come back to vouchers then. They're not ready to go yet. Oh, you have a question already?
Well, I just want to say, I'm sorry to say, but I couldn't get in my email. So I looked at them once, but then I wasn't able to go back and review them. So I have no questions.
You're
Wow.
welcome, Chris Ann. We changed his email password. You did it.
Yeah. Accidentally on purpose.
Well, we'll come back to that. So everybody can look at them. Minutes from the August 14th and September 4th meeting. What is your pleasure?
I'll motion to approve the minutes.
Motion from Mr. Kopish,
I'll second it.
second from Mr. Swenson. Any conversation, discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor? Those opposed? All right, they passed, they're carried. Subcommittee appointments. We had Council on Aging Advisory Committee, our northern representative, as we had discussed at the last meeting. Joe Baratta was very interested in the position. We were having trouble filling the position. And just to get you back up to speed on this, then, I mean, we have been looking for a northern representative for, I can't tell you how long. It's been a long time. So Joe said, okay, he represents that area, but he wanted to take his county hat off, and he's from that area. And he said he would gladly do that as a citizen. And so we took it to the Council on Aging Committee. But in that time, there was also one of our committee representatives took the initiative and did find someone who was sort of interested. So when we had our meeting in Kennan, we had the discussion, and Joe said he would back off and let this person, but in the conversation with that person, Chris maybe talked to her, and she really didn't want to do it, but she would have done it. So she backed off, I should say. And so Joe said, yep, he would do that. And so the committee did approve. And so Joe Bratka is now our northern rep. So yay, finally we have a voice from that area. So that's what we're going to do. I just wanted to let you know. We already approved him at the last meeting, so and they have been approved there. So Joe is our representative. That was just an FYI. Any questions? Good. Thank you. Let's move on to 6, our Chippewa Valley Health Cooperative. If you'll remember, I brought this came to Mr. Ernst, our chair, Brian Ernst, and it was a letter requesting a meeting with us and members of the County Board of Supervisors, and many of us are on there, about the plans to build a new community hospital and provide other healthcare services in the greater Chippewa Valley region. Now, Mr. Kraus is here, but obviously he's not able to interact with us. So I'm glad that Mickey Judkin is in here. Mickey, are you there yet?
Mickey, you're muted. Bob, you're not muted. So if you can hear
Mickey?
us now, you could speak.
Mickey, you have to, there you go. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, it's yours. The floor is yours.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us. I'm Mickey Judkins. I'm a local business owner, and I'm one of the incorporators of the Chippewa Valley Health Cooperative. We launched the Chippewa Valley Health Cooperative to meet the healthcare challenges of the region. As you know, Eau Claire and Chippewa had both Sacred Heart and St. Joe's Hospital closed and 19 Prevea clinics. So this was a huge impact to the region. We've always been known as a regional health center, which serves the greater community. And it has been very crazy. It displaced 1,400 healthcare workers, and it also disrupted access to healthcare for tens of thousands of citizens. There's a national shortage of healthcare workers, and Eau Claire cannot afford to lose these talented men and women who care for our communities. We need to keep these talented professionals here. So we have been working to create a nonprofit community cooperative hospital. And that would be governed by a local board who understands the needs of the community and would make local decisions. These decisions to close were made in a remote boardroom in Springfield, Illinois, and frankly, motivated by profit and not by healthcare decisions of the citizens. And this economic impact could damage the local economy for years to come. And in some cases, HSHS clinics were the only healthcare that was available. So this has had a huge impact in the community. And let's talk for just a moment about some of the symptoms of our overwhelmed healthcare. I understand that there are wait times in emergency rooms at both Mayo and Marshfield of 8 to 15 hours in some cases. Urgent care is also backed up. I talked to someone who was housed, thank God they kept her, in the emergency room for 2 days until some patient passed and a bed opened up for her. I've been told that people who call 911 have been informed that, no ambulance is coming, you need to get yourself there. And that might have been a blessing because then they have to be seen rather than diverted. But we're seeing quite a few diversions. And even diversions of pregnant women have been diverted to places like the Twin Cities. I talked to an administrator who said her friend and husband were diverted to Minneapolis for 2.5 hours in an ambulance, and she's pregnant. And that they made it, everything's fine, but it was a very scary situation. More than 500 cancer patients are looking for care. Some of them are traveling hundreds of miles for care. And in some cases, treatment must be administered daily. So this can create a very difficult and expensive situation for the families and for the patient. And I don't have to tell you that a patient's cancer team is their lifeline, and to have that disrupted is terrifying. So that's just a few of the situations that are happening with this reduced access to healthcare for patients. And I don't say these things to criticize the healthcare workers that are working to provide care. As a matter of fact, I'd like to thank them all for their help. They're working long hours to provide care for our neighbors and our family members. So we're working on both short and long-term solutions to these situations. And an important priority, we're looking to see if we can get a cancer center up to at least monitor people's numbers. And so we have retained the 3 oncology nurses that are here, and we hope to get the oncologist to come back next year and help with us. So we're working on a possibly temporary and then a cancer center to help with that situation. And the community hospital will help meet the needs of the patients. And we don't want to just do Sacred Heart Hospital 2.0. We've been looking at why that hospital failed, what mistakes were made, where we need to make improvements, and what does healthcare look like as we move forward? So how do we provide long-term care and affordable care that would be helpful for the citizens and for employers? Because employers are working very hard to keep all of their employees insured. But as you know, this region is a very expensive area to insure people. So in order to provide a hospital, we have 2 of the 3 ingredients that are necessary. We have doctors, and the doctors have patients. These doctors are highly skilled and experienced, and they have a following of patients. So we have 2 of the 3 ingredients that are needed, and now we need to find the important component of a hospital. And as you know, building a hospital is not an easy task. We're working on tax exempt status. We're working on the design and location of the building. And we have 7 advisory doctors on the board, as well as 7 business leaders who are advising. And then we have some unpaid consultants and some paid consultants that are helping us with this. So I think this is an important issue, and we want to work to make sure that the patient is our priority. And at the same time, we meet the needs of the 1,400 displaced workers, and we retain these workers in a very difficult national rural healthcare worker shortage. So we don't want to lose these people and have to try and recruit them. We want to retain as many of them. Now, certainly we're going to lose, and we have lost some of them to other communities that cannot withstand the economic downturn, and they have left the community, but we are working to maintain as many as we can. So, you know, in closing, I'd just like to say that these workers are the doctors and technicians and nurses that staffed Sacred Heart, St. Joe's, and the Prevea clinics. They're the people who were there in the middle of the night when we needed them. They were the people who delivered our babies and who have been there, in some cases, in my case, for our family for generations. So we need to be there for them and help reestablish the Chippewa Valley as a regional healthcare center. So we're looking to you for your input and for your help, whether you can help us with if there are access to funds or any way that you can help. And we want to keep you informed on what's going on and have you help us. The easiest way that you could help us is to encourage your citizens to join the Chippewa Valley Health Network. And you can do that at valleyhealthcooperative.org. And that's a $25 lifetime membership. And what that does is it sends a signal to the entire community that you support this effort and that we do indeed want a locally run nonprofit hospital in the region. So with that, I will stop talking and leave it open for questions that you may have. Hello, can you hear me?
Go ahead now.
Okay, now can
Hi.
you hear us, Mickey?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
good. We
This
do
is
have a,
Bob.
We can hear Bob.
Mickey, or Brian, can you hear me? This is
Oh.
Bob. Crosby.
Yay, there he is.
Okay, I'm sorry that for this mishap, but I had to change devices 3 times, and I didn't hear what was said, but I know Mickey well enough that it was said well, and that she explained everything. So thank you, Mickey, and thank you, Brian, and the county board for allowing us to come in and talk to you.
And,
Well, we're-
and they were just saying that they had some questions, and then you may want to address some of these things also.
Perfect.
Okay, we do have a question. One of our supervisors, Supervisor Stephen, Patty,
Okay, I'm unfamiliar with some of these locations.
can
How-
we hear you? Ask if they can hear you.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm unfamiliar with some of these locations. How much of a drive in an ambulance is it from Price County to this proposed location?
We have not finalized a location yet. We're looking at 5 different locations. And we're not prepared to discuss, those locations because they're still under negotiation and reviewing to see which would be the best sites. But we are looking at sites that would be a good location for you so that it would be easy access for you.
All right,
And-
thank you.
Yeah, any location we choose, we're trying to consider all of the variables. And its variables are geography, where you live, and how we can support the patients in the 18 counties that we've identified. But we're very concerned about getting good road access so you can get there quickly. We're very concerned about getting enough space for a helipad. So if there's hopefully not, but if there's accidents up in your county, we can bring the helicopter and bring that down. So we're considering many different variables for location, including the guidance we're getting from state and federal officials.
Thank you. Any other questions? For either Bob or Mickey?
Well,
Oh, Mr. Kopish.
yeah, again, I'm kind of like Patty. I don't understand all the details of what happened with the hospitals over there, but I understand 2 hospitals shut down. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. They,
What's happening with those 2 facilities? Aren't they suitable to use anymore, or what?
yeah, that's a great question. The hospitals were owned by HSHS out of Springfield, Illinois. They decided in late 23 to close the hospitals down. They gave notice, and then the notice they shortened by 30 days. So everyone within our geography, our immediate geography, was shocked, but we can't focus on what happened in the past. We have to go forward. Now, to answer your second question, 2 weeks after the announcement, I toured the St. Joseph's Hospital in Chippewa Falls. Now, it had already been closed. One day later, I had our attorney prepare and send an offer for us to purchase that facility. There was no response from the owners or the realtor. So 2 weeks later, I had that offer rescinded. After that offer was rescinded, we then tried to lease the Sacred Heart facility in Eau Claire, primarily for the cancer center. They denied that right away. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, or the reason I think you're asking that question, is we've tried common sense approaches to the owners of those hospitals. We thought they wanted to work with us, but when you don't respond after 2 weeks, and we had confirmation that they did receive our offer, we need to focus on our mission. And our mission is to build a new hospital on new ground. The proposals we did for St. Joseph's and Sacred Heart that was only going to be a bridge. It was not going to be a long-term solution because both of those facilities are very tired. They're 50+ years old. So it was only going to be a bridge, but we're willing to make the investment in that bridge. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a good assessment of the situation. Thank you.
Any other questions? I don't see any other questions, Bob or Mickey.
Okay. You know, and Brian, is Brian there? I don't see him. I've never-
No, unfortunately,
Okay.
I know you've had conversations with Brian and he isn't here. So I'm sorry about that. And I wasn't apprised of what the conversations were. So
Sure, that's okay. But I was going to say, if anyone has any questions, filter them through Brian because his number's on my phone now. So when he calls me, I'll answer because we're trying to be as transparent as we can. Some things we can't talk about, like location, but everything else we're trying to be transparent because we not only need, we need your help. This is a community hospital. And it's going to be run and owned by the community. So we need members and we need you to know what's going on.
well, we appreciate that. Hearing nothing. Nick, do you have any conversation with that? No. All right. Well, we thank you very much. And I'm sure we'll have conversations.
Okay, thanks a lot. Have a great day.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much. Thank
Okay,
you. Bye.
Bye.
We'll move on. No other conversation. Okay. Public Health Unit, Michelle Edwards. And unfortunately, this is your last Health and Human Services Board.
Don't even go in it.
I know, I know.
So we'll start with a quarterly report.
There we go.
You all have the handout,
Yep.
so I will just
Bring it
hit
up.
the high points that I think are a little bit, different than what you might see in some of the other quarterly reports. For us, not the other units. Communicable disease, during this third quarter, we did have our site visit. The state comes every 2 years and does a site visit. So we had that this quarter and that went well. We're doing our flu vaccinations now. We're up and running with that, hitting the businesses and communities. Side note, our employee one, and I don't know if board members are considered in that if they want to, but it's the same day as our walk-in clinic on Wednesday, the 23rd is our flu clinic here in Phillips. Otherwise, our others will be posted. Also under communicable disease, we did have our HIV partner service site visit also. That is done yearly. So we made it through that fine. The other programs are kind of the same. Nothing has been too different until we get to our community needs assessment and planning, which is our coalitions. They were pretty busy this quarter. The Health and Wellness Coalition, they went around to the nutrition sites with a healthy brain information. So they talked to all of the different sites on that, and they had a board up and gave out handouts. They attended the VA Expo also with that information. I think they got some interesting feedback from the event, and it's something that the coalition will then take back and work with Shay, who works with the memory issues. So they'll collaborate together on that. And they also, JoJo went twice to the nutrition sites. And also with the brains, excuse me, I'm jumping ahead she was doing both of the coalitions. So I'm trying to stick to the one coalition here, the health and wellness one. She did the healthy brains, but then she also did talk about healthy lifestyles. She had stroke information, diabetes information, and handouts. And so she did kind of a full package of healthy living. So you can see exactly the things that she talked about. And there's our board on that. We got some people that were interested in blood pressure checks, and there's still ones that like that out there too. So we refer them to our office if they need blood pressure checks done. Then the Mental Health AODA Coalition, they kind of took, remember the Hidden in Plain Sight we brought here that one time? That was very busy this past quarter. They took that Hidden in Plain Sight to the VA Expo, and you can kind of see what was given out and comments that people made about that Hidden in Plain Sight from the VA Expo. And then in August, they also went to the 3 school districts and did it. 2 of the schools, they did it as one of their in-service days. So it was mainly just for staff. In Phillips, it was the same day as their open house orientation. So that got a little bit of staff and a few parents and stuff that came to that one. And then at the fair, they had kind of a smaller version of the Hidden in Plain Sight that only when we were out there manning, then they put those objects out. Did it when a person was there, yes. And then we went to the nutrition sites again, and JoJo did presentations about our Project Safe, the Sharps disposal boxes that we have, the doTERRA bags, lock boxes, and gave out those bags that we handed out to the board members that other month. So it was busy for the coalitions going around and getting information out there. Then our tobacco coalition, they met with Assembly candidate Summerfeld to educate on vaping in the schools particularly. And then I think the last thing that's a little different that we did this quarter is with some of our workforce development funds. We did a book study with our staff on Beyond Diversity was the name of the book. So at our staff meeting, we would, they had to read so many chapters ahead of time. And then at our monthly staff meeting, we would discuss those chapters. So we read the book and finished the book. And so that was good. That was all on the equity and diversity. Any questions? Yes.
On the Health and Wellness Coalition, on the feedback on the expo about creating a guide on the difference between aging and different dementias, I think that is something that could be very valuable because people that have memory loss start thinking automatically it's dementia, and it's not usually always the case.
Yeah.
So is there a timeline on maybe when something like that might be available?
I don't have a timeline, but I think with this, this is what JoJo will take back to Shay, who specializes in the memory care, and see if between the two of us we can come up with something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Because as you get older, more and more people have memory problems.
Do you have a timeline you get done by for you? Is that it?
If I remember.
Just give him a date. He won't. I won't remember. I don't think I'm talking about myself, am I?
It ain't like you got memory loss, it's just that you got so much stuff in there, you gotta delete something.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, but that's good, and I will make sure that I bring that back and see where that's at for
And
follow-up.
JoJo did a really nice job at the meal site up
Yeah.
in Park Falls with those kits and everything. She did a nice job. So not that she's Joe's daughter, but she did.
So did you say, I'm sorry, did you say that JoJo has been to all the dining sites with the
She
Hidden in
did.
Plain Sight?
Mhm.
I'm really impressed.
Well,
with
not
that.
with the Hidden in Plain Sight.
Right.
but she's been to the dining sites for the wellness stuff and the disposal stuff.
But has
Yes.
the Hidden in Plain Sight gone to each of the dining sites?
I don't know if, I don't think she took that to the dining sites.
That
To
might be
the-
something you
to
might
the
wanna-
little, like the condensed version or something she
Sure.
could take, but she didn't do that part. She focused more on the proper disposal of medications and sharps.
Well, maybe she and Chris can work on something with that for the dining sites. They're always looking for something to do after they've eaten. And to me, when I read this very last one, very eye-opening. I'm going to have to look at my grandchildren's tea cans every time they come over. I'm thinking, yeah, probably that wouldn't hurt, so so those grandparents can feel a little empowered, at least of what's going on in their homes too. But that might be something, and we can talk to Chris about that too.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
We now have the Hidden in Plain Sight stuff housed in public health, so we have easy access
Nice.
to doing
Nice.
it.
It's
so.
just really cool.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Michelle on that? All right. ARPA funding?
Yeah, so I asked the 3 representatives from the playground where we gave some of the ARPA funds to come and present an update of what is going on. So we have Danae Walsack is coming from the Lions Park, representing the Lions Park. And Kristen Harper is here for the Elk Lake Park. And then we have Scott Kluber from the Old Abe Memorial Park. Is anybody out of time frame? Does it matter who goes first? You have a time frame? Okay. Okay. All right. So then we'll have the Elk Lake Park. Well, Kristen will go first. And that's the one with the PowerPoint.
Put it up right now.
Okay. Which is the same as your handout. So.
Good morning. So I gave you a handout so that you could follow along, look at the pictures quicker, and to make it go faster, because I know we're always on a time frame. In particular, at the end, it shows our donors for the project. So a year ago, we were here and you graciously gave us $100,000. Since then, we did put our park all together. It is up and functioning. So the construction began on July 8th. The city of Phillips put our old equipment up on the Wisconsin surplus auction with the condition that the buyers had to remove it. That helped save some time for the city employees to not have to take care of that mess, and also figure out where to put it and whatnot. So a church from outside the area purchased everything, and then it was their job to figure out what they wanted to keep and not keep. And we got the funds from that. It was something like about $800, plus they saved a lot of work as well. Then the following week, we went into our construction. The actual installation of the equipment only took from Monday afternoon until Friday evening, which was great. The rain had finally kind of stopped that week, so they were able to get things done pretty quickly. That entailed putting the equipment all together. We got it trucked to us for a donation from 2 different local truckers who brought it from Minnesota to us at no cost. So that saved us a couple $1,000s there. And then they put it all in concrete. And then unfortunately, we had to wait almost a month before we got it finished. That rubber flooring, which was important to make the ADA compliance. We needed to have 3 dry days for that to happen. It's kind of poured like concrete, except it can't get wet for 24 hours for the first round, and it's done in 2 layers. So that took us a long time, in particular because they were so far behind everywhere else that they were working to that. We got lucky that it rained really hard one weekend, Eau Claire, and it didn't here. So they came to us instead of that job. So we got that put together. We did a grand opening that was open to the community on a Wednesday evening. We moved that too because it was supposed to rain on the day we wanted to do it. So we did that on the 14th. We did a ribbon cutting with members of the Chamber of Commerce, some people from the city, and Michelle was there and a bunch of other people. So it was a fun day. We had a lot of fun with the kids. We kind of counted them down. Cranberry Lake Corporation came and helped us distribute 2 semi-trucks full of wood chips that went around the rubber one morning that week. So we were happy to have their help as well. So where does that put us? So our estimated cost was at $222,000. Right now we're a little bit over that. We're at right now, 225,000. The reasons being, the wood chips ended up being a lot more was needed. I was hoping that my dairy farm could help distribute, but our trucks were a lot smaller than theirs and would have been 6 trips back and forth to Cadott during the middle of hay season, and I just couldn't ask that. So we paid the $2,000 to have it freighted here, or 11, I don't know, it was in the thousands. And then when we had talked about that rubber surface, after we relooked at the area, for like an extra $2,000, we could get the whole toddler playground underneath that rubber surface. So we decided that was a good use of money instead of having some odd seam somewhere. So we added that on as well. So the only 2 expenses that we should have coming up is the price of benches and a donor sign. The benches and donor sign will come in the spring after we're certain that we have everything that we need. So as of right now, we show $223,000 raised. I just got a phone call from Prevail yesterday that they're giving us another $1,000. I have $2,000 or $3,000 coming in from chocolate bar sales that we're finishing up, another few thousand from companies that would match employee contributions, but they only write those checks certain times of the year. So at this time, we're showing a deficit, but we will get there. The city of Phillips used money from the recreation fund to pay for the bills, and then we will reimburse that when we're done. So it's operating, it's ready to go, it's busy, and it seems like the kids are having lots of fun. And that's thanks to you guys. So then there's just a bunch of donors there. You can read through that. These donors from $250 and above will be put on a sign that will be out there permanently. And again, we'll do that in the spring. Any questions for me? No. Hey, I was happy to help. It went well, and it looks like a lot of fun. And I've climbed on it too, and it is.
It looks marvelous, Krista.
Thank you.
Yes, it does.
No, we need about $3,000 more, and we have that money coming, but it just, because of how they cut their checks, we just don't have it yet. So we're done, and it's done. All right.
Ready
Thank you.
for the next project, right?
We'll take a little break. Take a little break.
Well, thank you for all you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
So Danae Walsasak will go next. She's representing the Prentice Lions Park.
Thank you. Hi, well, it's very nice to be here, and thank you again for having us. And what a difference a year makes, because when I first came here, I had really no idea what was going on with our playground. And but from then on, it really just, when we were able to receive these funds, it really sparked a lot in our community of potential of what we can do together and what to look forward to. So through this, when people realize, okay, this is what's going to be happening, and we got to do it this summer with the ARPA funds, we had to make a decision on what we're going to do with our playground. There's been 13 years ago, there was some updates to that, and then we were wanting to do more and have more inclusion and safety and improvement in our community there. So what we did from then is we started doing little things like online parties, and moms in the community were able to contribute from their sales to us, and then it just kept going. And we're a smaller community than Phillips and Park Falls, obviously. So this type of thing just started to spark more and more. And one of our bigger ones was a soup and chili feed that we did at the school after a doubleheader basketball game. And then we had the 4-H join with us. So that was their service project, and they were able to make some money from their bake sale. And then from that point, we had our poster and everything, and people were asking questions and very generous. And then we started to say, this is our plan, and this is big. It's $400,000 big. And that's a big number. It's actually $434,000 big. So then, we started like, okay, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this in phases, and we're going to do it together, little by little. We're going to get there. So then from there, we started to get ideas from people, and we had more parties online, and we sold these boxes of cards. And from that little sale, these boxes of cards, we had over $1,000 that we made. And then from there, we had a family fun day in June. And that was something that was new to Prentice, is progress days is pretty much what we have. And then some school things. And if anyone wants to be in anything in the school, they have to fundraise for it. So it was hard to know, like, okay, let's not exhaust everybody, but this is for everyone. So we had people in the community come. We had a Nerf war, we had a jumpy house, we had face painting, we had concessions, we had bubbles, we had a DJ, we had crafts, we had raffles. And everyone just gathered around and just really contributed anything they could, big or little. And we had people sign up to volunteer. We have a little group, that's the Lions Park Playground Parents Group. And then there's 5 of us on a committee that make the decisions, because I can't ask 20 women to agree and make decisions. That's just a lot of people. But we always run by the gist of everything for the big group, because this was our idea that blossomed and was well timed for this ARPA funds. And we are so grateful for that. You have no idea. Because we are making friendships, we're making networking, we're helping people, we're referring people to, okay, well, why don't you try this, doctor? Why don't you do this? We're having a community of moms that are helping each other and not just the playground area. So as we go on, we are getting donations from businesses, and we're fundraising. We have a dodgeball tournament that we work with the new 8-man Prentice football team. So we did a dodgeball tournament and raised money for both of us. We also had you can kind of see it a little bit in here. There's some really nice picnic structures that the tech ed made for us from Prentice. So that was a fundraiser for both of us. So we have the school helping us. We have 4-H helping us. We have now the Eagle Scout project that the Boy Scouts are helping us with. As you can see in that first picture, they're helping clear some of the pea gravel, take out the fence post. So they're doing some of that groundwork for their project. So then from the fundraising and some of the sponsors, we don't have all the sponsors because they know that we're doing this in phases, and that's a lot of money to keep going with. Right now, our title sponsor is the Lions in Prentice, and it's the biggest donation that they've ever given before. It's $7,500. And so that's really exciting. It is the Lions Park, but they're with us on it, and it's really cool. And then from there, we have the first phase done. And as you can see some of the pictures, we call this our toddler area. So the $100,000 that we were able to receive from you, we started in the front because that was the easiest for us to do with these phases, and we weren't sure how it was going to go. So with this first phase here, you can see we have this hot air balloon structure that's for ages 2 to 5. That is something we were lacking at our playground, was the separate age groups that would keep them safe when they're playing. You don't want to mix the bigger and little kids because then it becomes problems. But we have a mesh umbrella with a little bench there. Shade was a big issue. We have some exploratory things. We have a wee saw with a child that would maybe in a wheelchair or that needs extra support can be on this. Now, our ground would have been done by now, but my husband is working. He's using the village equipment to do this. Our village has a big thing going on with their sewage plant. So we are getting the volunteers. The village is very supportive and they're so helpful with advice and navigation. And then we have the Boy Scouts are going to be finishing the pea gravel underneath the equipment, and then the wood chips. And that was our first phase of this. And this hot air balloon, it's the first one that's ever in Wisconsin for this company. And so they really took their time, made sure it was done right. And the not funny thing was they sent the wrong size poles. So then they had to be made for us again and sent. So we kind of like sat for a few days with nothing to do. But now, so on Sunday, the Boy Scouts and my husband and the contractor, they're gonna finish the wood chips and spread it out, and that'll be our first phase, and there will be rubber. From the grants and the fundraising, we have $117,000.
Nice.
We just received a big grant that we applied for. And so for our second phase, it's already paid for. I mean, the playground consultant and I, we're trying to figure out what is the best move for the next phase for us, because the shipping and the installation, and now we have someone in our community that's going to be able to pick it up for us too. So we're really excited about that, to cut the costs, and just everyone has been so generous. The families that have helped with certain things, some of them are families that may not always be the ones that are involved, or some of the children may not have the easiest time in school, maybe academically, or kind of getting in trouble a lot. And they're right down there being part of it. So with that, it was like, if you're part of it, if you're playing the Nerf wars, if you're working the concession stands, like, you know what you're doing for our community and you're part of it. And so like, we're taking pride in what they're doing. So it's like everyone has had, like, it's so crazy. Everyone has had a part of this, big or small. Like the people that showed up to the chili feed, I was just so nice to see that support, who may not always go to the basketball games. Well, they were there at the basketball game then, you know, and we played Athens that night, and the Athens basketball coach was so generous to us and his kids. It was just, we all just felt so good. Like, wow, look what we can do. And that night we raised $1,200. And then it just like, okay, what's our next thing? And so our next thing is another soup and chili feed at the school. And that was the one thing the school is they're working with us. They're letting us use the gym. And it's just impacting the community and not just the playground. We're making our village again. Like, we're making the connections. And that was the whole point, was this playground's like the neighborhood hub for like so many things. And we want to be able to have more things than just progress days. Like, you know, we'll never be like Elk Lake Park. We'll never be that, but we'll have something that we can take pride in and be excited about. And like a family fun day, we had a family that just moved there a couple weeks ago, and their kid was in summer school, and they were there and they were meeting people. And it was just like, every single person that came was approached and talked to by me or someone on the committee. And it was just like, it was a little welcome little family, and we all had fun. And our kickball teams, that we had a kickball tournament. And when I looked at the picture, I'm like, wow, like, this is our community. And it was all walks of life. And it was amazing. And we had so much fun. And everyone just left so happy, and we're like, okay, what are we gonna do next? And it's just, I just want to say thank you, because this is because of you giving us this hope, like, we can do something and we can make a change and we can do it together. Like, I'm hoping that maybe they see what happens at our playground and just be like, we can do more, we can do other things. So I just wanted to say thank you, and we're just really appreciative of everything. Yeah.
Renee, you've done a great job.
Thank you.
When you first came here, I know you were really nervous about it, and I need just to plant a seed like that and to see so much ownership in your community.
It's awesome.
That's congratulations. That's good.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, and Scott Clover will be here next. It's a different Scott from the first Scott that came the first time around. So, but he'll do the end, the exciting part, huh? Thank you, Scott.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I am Scott Clover, the new city administrator in Park Falls. This project, the Old A Park project in Park Falls, was under construction when I arrived on the scene. And I do have a handout that you should have. So as part of the whole Old A Park, which is a new park right in the downtown area of Park Falls to help revitalize the whole downtown area and create a new community gathering space. There is the playground component, which is part of that. And in the handout, you will see some of the progress photos. This is a project that is currently under construction. It started this summer. And thanks to the good weather we've been having here this fall, the project is on track, and we are expecting substantial completion by the end of this month. There may be some touch-up stuff that'll have to be done in the spring with some final greenery and some other items, but we expect the park to essentially be operational by the end of this month, and that would include the playground equipment as well. So just kind of going through the photos, you can see some of the progress when they were working on that in August, kind of establishing the area, kind of the boundary, the installation of the playground equipment foundation, the installation of the playground equipment itself, and where it stands right now. What remains is putting down the base and the rubberized padding at the under the playground equipment. That's what needs to be completed yet as far as that portion of the project. So that is on track. The playground equipment itself was about $154,000. The overall, with the installation of everything of the playground area, that was it's going to come to $329,000. So the $100,000 that Price County contributed to that is very much appreciated, and it'll help be part of the revitalization of the downtown Park Falls area. And we're hopeful that our family and residents in the area will be utilizing that park on a regular basis. I mean, as far as the overall project there is also the pavilions, and there's going to be a stage for music. There's a indoor and outdoor bathroom facility and a kind of a pavilion for events. If some vendors have food, place for food trucks, things like that. So we're really trying to make the whole area a place for community events and good things to happen. So the playground equipment is certainly going to be part of that. So happy to answer any questions.
It looks really good. And with the music in the park there and saving the pavilion there, I think you have a real win-win situation there. Nice job.
I can't take credit for that.
No, I know. Well, you might as well.
I just wanted to ask you, are you just gonna put up any signs or anything? I don't know, like I went to Park Falls and I was looking around for this, and I had to go to the gas station, and it was just down the street, which I didn't know, and one of the other people with the gas station didn't know. So one of the other guys that pulled in, he said, "Oh yeah, it's right down here." So once you get this completed and Prentice 2, will they be putting up any signs at playground, something?
That's a good question, and I'll certainly make note of that. And I believe some of our wayfinding signage does need to be updated, and that's something that we will certainly be looking at.
Yeah, because I know like other towns, they got the school complex or this or that, and same thing with Prentice. And if the people are coming through our towns and they see this, they can say, "Hey, maybe we want to move here."
right? So for those who may not be familiar with it, where exactly this is you're driving north into Park Falls, and it's essentially right behind the Forward Bank building is where this location is.
Well, if you see the gas station.
There it is, right? Yeah, signage is always good.
Yes.
Thank you, Scott. We appreciate your update.
Sure.
Thank you. Oh, Patty, I'm sorry.
Just in summary, this was the government county money that we gave to these wonderful people, sparked and initiated a lot more with it.
Mhm.
And people always want to know, what is the government doing with my money? This was a good project. This was good, and people can see it. So I'm glad we did this.
Yeah.
You guys are doing a fantastic job. So
Taking that all on, I totally agree with you.
And it sounded like it must have been a big thing because all communities are putting these in.
Mm-hmm.
All communities. I mean,
Music in the
wow.
park stages, yep, and then these. It's just a nice central location
So somebody got a bright idea that really worked out.
that went out, you bet.
You started thinking of the children. That's what happened.
There you go. There you go. Well, it's a good thing, and we're really excited to see it and been making some tours. So thank you. Thank you for all you do. All right. Shall we move on? Thank you for being here.
thank you.
Okay, let's go to aging and disability. Cheyenne's not here either. We have some sick people, so Chris and Cheyenne aren't here. The quarterly report.
Is the Aging and Disability Unit quarterly report. It's I don't know how.
I wonder if it's in our packet. I didn't.
It should be in your packet of, yes, that's it.
There you go.
Okay. I tried to put them in order. Cheyenne had put this together. She kind of has changed how the quarterly report is done. I think it's pretty clean. It's the ADRC specialist. She has gone through how many referrals that are Price County branch. It's 74 long-term care functional screens. They completed 14 the third quarter. The enrollments. I mean, I don't have to read. I guess you guys can look at questions. I guess the biggest thing I'd like to point out on the bottom is for adult protective services. If you see way over into the right-hand bottom corner, is that had 30 elder abuse, neglect, adult, and risk and welfare concerns. So that's quite a
huge.
few, yes.
Yeah.
So
That is
I'll
a
talk
concern.
about in our updates for personnel. I'm really glad that we got that other APS worker. So we have 2 of them now, adult protective services. There's 30 referrals, is a lot.
That's a red flag.
And
isn't
that's
it?
just in the third quarter.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other questions? Nope, for Sarah on that? All right, well, so we have the Council on Aging Advisory Committee meeting. I do have just quick little minutes here that we had. We did talk about the candidate and with Joe Baratka being in there. It says here that they were forwarding it to Health and Human Services Board for their consideration, but I thought we already had considered that. Do we need to, should we have one?
To do it, I think we
should
for some
probably,
reason, I think it was,
it'll just go to the board? Okay, so we'll just move that to the board. All right. And then our nutrition program, we're requesting that Carrie Kyle would come to the next meeting for more thorough review of the financial status. She did that once before for us, and it was good to have her there. So Carrie, if you're listening, it'll be, the next meeting is December 9th at the courthouse right here. Our next, the senior service update, all 117 farmers market vouchers were dispersed for use at all registered farmers markets in the state until the end of October. So I know Chris was pretty happy that all of the vouchers were dispersed. That's kind of a first, isn't it?
is, yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. Strong Bodies continues year-round classes with 2 instructors. The Phillips Dining site attendance is picking up, and they we're promoting meal services to ADRC clients. Drivers are needed for more home delivery meals. Promoting the use of the BART bus for transport to sites, marketing to younger seniors. Promoting healthy living, healthy aging. Memory cafes are scheduled in Phillips and Emery. That's if you can remember to get there. Bob. Senior Service Resource Directory has been published and is being distributed. And the flu clinics are being offered in October. A new 3-year plan draft was dispersed. Okay, so we have that. We're going to discuss that in a little bit. So we'll talk about that. And then there's a transportation grant public hearing will be scheduled. Is that in November, Patty? Do you know? The transportation grant public hearing?
No.
No,
Nope,
no, that's a different one.
That's a different one. I think we usually have it in November.
Yeah,
before,
I think
so.
Sarah's right. It doesn't clarify that in there.
Jean said yes.
Okay, thanks, Jean. Transportation update, review of the BART bus usage, free rides for veterans until the end of the year, and that's to be reevaluated at that point. And as I had said, the next meeting is December 9th at the county boardroom right here. We normally hold them at nutrition sites, but we'll be here then. Any questions? All right, let's move on. Children and Youth Unit? Nope.
We got the 20.
Oh, I'm ahead of myself. Sorry. Yep. We have the 2025 Price County Aging Plan. So that is this little baby that I've had since our meeting. But did everyone get a chance to read through this plan? I see Gerald shaking his head. It's a very good report in there. So what we need to do is we need to approve this, accept it, and then, does that go on to the county board? No,
it's
just
for-
accept it.
For the state.
FYI, that's right, okay. And then there will be a public participation meeting October 25th at 9 o'clock here in the county boardroom. Again, for this county aging plan. For the public, the purpose of the public hearing is to provide an opportunity for citizens for Price County to comment and provide input on the aging plan draft. So the notice has been posted, will be posted. And actually it was posted yesterday.
So when is that?
October 25th. It's a Friday and it's at 9 o'clock. Right here in this room.
We still need a motion. I make a motion that we accept the Price County Aging Plan.
Okay, motion's been made by Mr. Swenson,
I'll second.
second by Susie Ocker. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Those opposed? Okay, motion's carried. So that's October 25th for public hearing. This committee needs to be there, right? Does this committee need to be here for that public hearing? Jean?
You said at 9 o'clock.
Yes.
No.
No. Okay,
So we can do a public hearing.
yeah, but you're welcome to be here.
Well, we just noticed.
Hmm?
You'll have to be here.
Oh, I'll be here, yes. I definitely, well, I'll be online.
Oh, yeah, you'll be
Is that
online.
going to be
Yeah.
okay? So, Mr.
It's all
Kopish, you
online.
might want to be here because I will be online. I won't be able to be here in person in case in case my connectivity isn't the best where I will be.
So you gotta fill her chair.
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yeah.
I can hardly hear you.
You have to fill her chair.
Not only did I check the period.
You can't hear me either?
She'll be on
Oh, I'm so sorry.
here.
Oh,
So what were you saying?
okay, so at this public participation?
Yeah.
I will be here, but I will be here remotely. So being the vice chair, you should be here as well if you would, just in case my connectivity. Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So Paula, so what Chris told me is it just needs to be a public hearing. Just a
Oh.
public hearing. It doesn't need to be conducted by
Oh, okay.
any particular committee.
Person.
I think it just needs to be announced that we're having a public
Yep.
hearing. It's not a committee.
Correct.
Okay,
I don't
okay.
think any of our public hearings have been committee driven.
They're
We
just
vote.
normally handled at a committee.
Okay,
So, Chris will be here. Someone will be here to start the online part of it in case there's any online participation.
okay.
But it's just kind of with public hearing, this is what it is. Are there any comments? Yes or no? And
So in
then it's done.
essence, Chris will run that.
Yep.
Got it. Okay,
But then I don't have.
No.
No, perfect.
I guess not.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for the clarification, Jean.
You betcha.
All right. Okay, so that's done. And now let's move on to behavioral health unit.
Shauna's here. If she wants-
Shauna, want to come on up for
she
that?
wants to do the quarterly report.
We have a quarterly report that's in your, that was a
I
separate
just handed it
piece.
out
Okay,
today.
looks like this. Has all those crisis calls. Okay, looks like everybody might be ready for you, Shauna.
Okay. So same quarterly report I always usually have. So you can see we've had a slight increase in calls again. July was a little rough with youth. We've had an increase in youth calls in September. That usually occurs when kids get back to school and then they're more comfortable telling people how they're feeling and what's happening. So then we start to get more calls. Then our intensive supervision program, which is that program for second offense or higher OWIs. For September, I think Austin just signed up maybe 2 more this week, so that'll increase a little bit more, but that program only lasts about 3 months, so that caseload ebbs and flows a lot. CCS, I also am working on bolstering that program. We have some referrals. And since Austin is done with that training, I'm moving her into starting to try and move that program forward again. Community support program, which we'll kind of talk about in the other item that Sarah has. We have 19 people in that program. We also have a couple more referrals, so that number will go up to possibly 21. I can't remember how many referrals. All depends on if somebody falls through the client themselves, actually, not us. Coordinated services team, it's at 9. That might go up a little bit because we are back in school. And again, same thing where they start to see more concerns or different things come up while they're in school and staff start to see things happening and then start talking with the parents. And so that could go up as well. As you can see, Bobby Joe's children's waiver caseload is at 50. I thought it was 51, but I forgot somebody aged out. So we're at 50 right now, and that caseload potentially at this point could just keep increasing, as you could see through the year, because that caseload, again, that's for kids they could be 3 when they start their program, and a lot of times they stay in it till they're 18. So it's not a short-term case. And then birth to 3, which is a short-term caseload, I have transitioned or started to transition that to Alicia to take some weight off of Bobby Joe, because that's a lot. So
A normal caseload for a children's waiver is 25 to 30.
yeah, so Bobby Joe's basically
way
handling
above
2
each
people's work right now.
right now.
So yeah, that's all I have, I guess. Is there any questions?
Any questions for Chana? So Chana, would you talk about this resolution? Do you have that in your
I
hand?
don't have it in my hands. I read it this morning.
Okay. Would you kind of explain it to people?
So basically, I can look at it, I guess. But basically, how do I- so what happens with CSP and crisis? So crisis, obviously, you don't have to have Medicaid to be in crisis. Everybody goes into crisis at some point. But this is more talking about the fact that Medicaid does not cover these services properly. CSP, you have to have Medicaid to be in that program. The Medicaid only covers 60%. 40% comes out of our levy. So this resolution, which is coming basically from all of the counties, is saying, hey, this is ridiculous. The counties can't afford this. And like you can see, we have 19 people in CSP. So that's 40% of 19 people that we're having to pay in. But it's also, it prevents other costs, obviously, because these are severely mentally ill people that might end up in a hospital, might end up at Winnebago, which isn't covered at all by MA between the age of 21 and 64. So it's a program that can help prevent other costs, but it's still, on the other side, it's still expensive for counties to try and pay for that. So counties are tired of it. And so they've put this resolution together to go through the medical assistance program and say, hey, we need more support. You know, they really just can't. We can't expect counties to keep trying to pull all this from levy. As we know, mental illness is, people are becoming more aware. So then people are starting to reach out more to get the help, which is good because then we're preventing crises in the long run. But again, it's not funded well. You know, if I get a crisis call on somebody who has regular insurance and they end up in the hospital, that insurance pays pretty much all of it. And then if there's a deductible, the person has to pay it. If the person doesn't have any insurance at all, it comes back to us. Even if the person has Medicaid, if they end up at Winnebago, again, between 21 and 64, that comes out of our pocket. So, because that's another separate resolution for a different time, I think they are also working on is trying to get that changed. Because that seems pretty ridiculous between those ages, because those are very often the people that we're sending. Because, whatever's happening, it's more extreme than being able to go to one of the local mental health hospitals. And then also for crisis, so just reimbursement even for the stuff that we do. So MA reimburses like when we handle a crisis call, but it's not at 100%. So it's basically around 50. So anyway, that's what this resolution is for, is to try and push forward to get them to help support the counties better, provide that better coverage through medical assistance so it's not having to come out locally. Any questions?
This was introduced at the county's update a couple weeks ago. So I sent that on to Jean saying, I think we should sign this and send it forward for that. What this will do is it'll just bring it to light, and it'll be directed to the governor and also the Wisconsin Counties Association that we agree and we support this initiative. Any questions for Chana on this? I'm looking for some action maybe on this, possible, if there are no questions.
I'll make a motion after we approve.
Okay, Mr. Warco makes the motion.
I'll second.
Second from Mr. Swenson. Any discussion at this time? Thank you, Chana. Okay, hearing none, I'm going to call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. We'll have Jean send that on to proper people. Okay, you have the original. Thank you. Pass that on down to Susie. Thank you. Ready to do a jig?
Oh, yeah. Irish jig, yeah.
Irish jig, there you go.
Just talking more of the Irish.
Irish jug and not the jig, okay. Well, good, I think that's a good move that we've done. Let's go to, now we're children and youth unit. That you, Sarah?
So this is the court report. Just when I took a phone call, that was Kayla, so I think they're out on another investigation with removing some kids, and she forgot I was here. So she's not able to come here to present this report, but I don't know if you have any questions.
This is in your packet.
colorful.
All the colorful barcodes there, bars. There we go.
Out of county, they have 13 that are placed and 10 children are placed in county. On the next page, as you see, as our expenses are going high, we have 3 in a group home and 1 in residential. It's really pushing our costs.
I'd say. And we never know how long that is, do we?
Right. Usually when they're in group homes or residential, it's usually 6 months or more. And the back is the annual placement costs.
So for the one in residential, it's $64,000.
Not a month for the 3,
It's for 3 months.
for 3 months.
This is the whole.
Right. Okay, any questions? No? Okay. Economic Support Unit, Sarah.
Okay, there's a resolution here for general assistance services. And this year, I don't think we've used it for, I asked Carrie too, I don't think for the last couple of years. I think maybe about 3 years ago we used it. It's usually for burial. So if somebody needs help and assistance with burial services, we can help out per family. I believe the policy is $750 per family we could help.
Need a motion?
Mm-hmm.
I'll move to approve the resolution.
Mr. Kopish makes the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Susie Ocker seconds it. Any discussion at this point? Seeing none. All those in favor? Those opposed? Okay. Resolution carries. Thank you. Then we have fiscal unit, Carrie.
I'm wearing this sweatshirt in memory of Michelle, and I'm aspiring to be like
I'm sorry, I can't have that.
Sarah did write me up right away this morning for breaking dress code and wearing a sweatshirt, but it was worth it. Okay, so in front of you, you do have the high cost of placement reports for the children and youth, and then the behavioral health with the AODA and mental health. Two, going off of the quarterly reports that you have, and as we discussed the last time, the cost will continue to go up this year. You can kind of start to see that reflection of those quarterly reports, and not all of those expenses from those are reflected on here either. So that's what I have to say. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay, thank you, Carrie. Director's report.
Okay, well, as everybody's heard now, it's Michelle's last Health and Human Service Board meeting, so brought trees, so please help yourself. I want to thank her for all the dedication that she has given to Price County. Or I could deny her vacation in November, and she'd have to come to the November meeting, but I won't do
I
that.
just realized yesterday, we were in a manager's meeting and we were talking about the meetings coming up, and I'm like, oh, I'm not here in November. Tomorrow's my last one, so I would have had a big speech prepared, because I know you like these meetings to go long, but it'll just be a quick thank you for everything.
Oh, we thank you, Michelle. We really do. Oh, enjoy yourself, enjoy yourself.
For the personal updates, we've had interviews for the Adult Protective Service position, and we made an offer. So hopefully then we will have 2 adult protective service social workers. And then on October 15th, we have interviews for the adult protective services and ADRC manager's position. And then Cheyenne will go back to her coordinating position. So that's where we're at with personnel updates. Next one is an appointment for Tiffany Polachek as Public Health Officer. The state is reviewing Tiffany's qualifications and are gonna let us know if she meets the requirements at the end of this week. So what I'm looking for is a motion to put it towards, because we have to have the appointment to the county board in November, because since there's no December meeting and Michelle will be gone in January.
Somebody has to take over.
Yes, and our Health and Human Service Board meeting is before the county board, so anyway.
So, yeah, we treat this position's treated different than most of the other department heads, unit managers. So at the board meeting, they'll still have to confirm the appointment, but it has to come to this board to, it's not recommend, it recommend or based on what we've brought forward. So we're bringing forward Tiffany Polachek. We need this board to say, yep, we would recommend, or we'd agree with that recommendation, which will go for the final appointment to the board for confirmation of that.
Yep, because otherwise, we would miss it when the board's the way the board.
And at the board, the appointment will be effective 1/4/2025. So we're just doing it early.
So we're looking for a motion.
So I need a motion.
Well, I'll make a motion and edit it if.
Yeah, we'll make it sound
Okay.
right. We gotta figure out
To
the verbiage.
approve the appointment
I don't remember what the wordage is. It's because the appointment comes from
or to
my
appoint.
office.
Make the motion to appoint.
Accept the recommendation. I
Accept-
think the accept the recommendation of.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the recommendation to appoint Tiffany Polachek as Public Health Officer effective
1/1
1/1
or 1/4.
1/4/25, conditional on Tiffany meeting the qualifications of the
Declare.
position.
Hey.
Is that
Bill's
right?
got all of that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Second.
Motion's been made by Mr. Kopish, and Jules, if you want to read that back?
No.
No?
I'd like to hear it.
Just hold on.
We have it on video, so now we go back.
That's
That's
true.
true.
That's true.
I'm almost there. So I have motion Kopish to accept the recommendation to appoint Tiffany Polachek as Public Health Officer effective 1/4/25, conditional on the state review of qualifications.
Yeah. Does that sound right?
And seconded by Mr. Swenson.
Jean trained her well.
Yeah, she's doing
Yeah.
well. Any comments, discussion?
Just so everybody knows, Tiff has been shadowing.
Oh, yeah.
2 months, or since July.
April.
April, yeah.
I knew it was a while.
It's been a long
We had
time.
funding to be able to do that. And so we have been working towards this. We knew that this would be the recommendation. We want to make sure she fit. She's meeting a lot of the leadership that Michelle has built relationships with. So Michelle has begun to introduce.
And Michelle didn't downgrade her, so I think she's.
No. Motion's been made, seconded, and so I'm looking for all those in favor? Those opposed? It's officially recommended.
So you'll see that on the full board.
Yeah. All right, as I had stated, well, maybe I hadn't, November 13th is our next meeting. And without any objection, this meeting is adjourned. Good timing there, Gerald? You can get to your